My name is Gusty, and this is my video blog response to the question, do you think IKEA will be successful in emerging markets like India and China? First, a little background on IKEA. IKEA is the world's largest furniture retailer. It was started in the mid-1900s by Ingvar Kamprad, and it is an excellent example of innovation and globalization. At the time when IKEA started, the furniture industry was very different. Companies only offered ornate and expensive furniture that would take weeks to get delivered because they never had anything in stock. So IKEA wanted to change this and make a furniture company that would sell products to the middle class and at affordable prices that were always readily available. His goal, his vision for IKEA was to create a better everyday life for the majority of people. And this was a very successful vision statement, and it helped IKEA expand exponentially in the years to come. Once IKEA got so large, it was only fitting that it expanded internationally. So first, IKEA went to Europe, and it was very successful in Europe. And then after Europe, it expanded to Canada, and it expanded to the United States. And there was this common consensus that middle class and young Americans, and even older Americans and Europeans, were very interested in the fact that IKEA offered inexpensive products that were always readily available, that could be set up easily, and that were very sturdy and durable. So after IKEA was very successful in Europe and North America, the only logical explanation is to move to the Eastern countries like China and India. However, China and India pose a lot of different challenges to IKEA. One of the main examples is the affordability of IKEA's products. In countries like Europe, in continents like Europe and North America, IKEA's products are inexpensive. But in India, about 42% of the population lives on less than $1.25 per day. So IKEA's products may not seem as inexpensive to people in India. Also in China, Chinese people are used to Western products as being luxury products. So it's very confusing to say that this Western product is very inexpensive and it also is high quality. So another issue is the labor required to assemble the furniture. Us in America and people in Europe, they don't really care about assembling furniture at their house in a do-it-yourself model. But in countries like China and India, people do not like to do-it-themselves products. They either have other people assemble for them, or they would rather buy it assembled. So a big issue for IKEA there is trying to get their business model across to countries whose culture is different than in the West, like Europe and the North American countries. A last example is the transportation and of the supplies. In India, there's very terrible transportation infrastructure. The roads are always packed and crowded, and there are often multiple dirt roads where there is no pavement. So IKEA's big draw is that it always has supply on hand. There's always a large stock in the warehouse where people can just go grab their tables or their chairs and bring it home and assemble that. But this would be very difficult in a country like India, where it's always hit or miss whether you can transport smoothly because of the traffic and because of the roads. It may create a huge problem for companies like IKEA. A final example is government regulations. In India, there are a lot of government regulations as to where foreign companies can set up shop in their country. They have to import most of their materials and use most of the materials from India, and there are a lot of regulations as to the land that can be bought and where. So that's another huge obstacle for IKEA expanding into emerging markets like China and India. So in conclusion, there are a lot of barriers for a company like IKEA, a Western company with a product statement that it is trying to be as inexpensive as possible, moving into countries where their version of inexpensive is not nearly the cost of products like IKEA. So I do not think IKEA would be smart in expanding to countries like China and India. I think it would be best to focus on the Western countries like America, like Canada, and like the European countries. And I think that would help IKEA maximize its profits and be able to stick to the core values and visions that they've had for over 50, 60 years right now. So that, in conclusion, is my response to the video blog question, I think that IKEA would not be successful moving into emerging markets like China and India. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing your responses. Thank you.